Hey guys, I'm Michelle from Virtual Hand Care, and in this video, I'm going to show you one of the worst exercises for supination. So if you're looking for ways to improve your forearm supination or palm up, hopefully you're not doing this exercise. If you are, I have a better one for you to do instead. So what is one of the worst exercises you can be doing to improve your forearm supination and also your pronation as well? That exercise is hammer rotations. I have seen this exercise given so many times. The problem with this exercise is it's very advanced and very painful for most people. So people are often given this exercise at the beginning stages of trying to improve their range of motion. You're not only very stiff with your mobility, but you're also likely very weak too. Very weak in your grip, very weak in your wrist, very weak in your forearm. But if you're lacking a lot of strength, you may feel like you have to grip really hard on that handle just to hang on to the handle because your grip is not back to normal yet, which increases the load on the wrist. And the most common complaint that people have with the hammer is ulnar-sided wrist pain. You have cartilage on this side of your wrist, and if you're gripping really hard because you don't want this heavy hammer to fall on your toes, you're already starting to load the wrist and you haven't even started moving yet. Not to mention, if your forearm is really stiff, your wrist is going to get the stretch, not your forearm, causing more wrist, finger, and thumb strain. Now, another reason why is because the wrist is likely very weak, right? You haven't been working on any kind of strengthening in the wrist or even into the forearm. And yet you're required to keep the wrist nice and stable as that heavy hammer is trying to pull your hand in an upward position. Now, another reason why I don't care for this exercise is because it does not let you truly relax your fingers. Your finger flexors are hanging on to this, your wrist, your bicep, your supinator. There are so many muscles that are working right now to help you be able to do this exercise. It's not allowing things to be nice and relaxed at that end range of supination, which if you're trying to improve supination, usually you need to stay at that end range for a little bit longer to help stretch all that tight tissue out. Most people can't hold the hammer out in this position for a long length of time to truly help stretch out that tissue. So what exercise should you be doing instead to improve your forearm supination? Well, that's a supination towel stretch. You can also do this stretch to help improve your forearm pronation too. So go grab yourself a towel, not one that's too thick. You can also use a pillowcase for this stretch too. So to do this stretch, you want to make sure that your arm is nice and relaxed at your side and that you're up in as much supination as possible. So if you can only get to a little bit of a neutral position, then that's okay. Just start in whatever position is comfortable for you. You want to grab the end of your towel. And then you want to take the rest of that towel and you want to lay it over the top of your hand, kind of around the knuckles, even a little bit on the back of the wrist here. And you want to grab onto that towel, but you don't need to have a death grip on that towel like you did with the hammer. You can have just a nice loose grip as long as that towel's not slipping out of your hand. Then what you want to do is pull the rest of that towel and pull your arm up in supination, just as much as you can and just as far as what is comfortable for you. And then what you want to do is take that towel and again rotate it over the top of your arm, and again your arm's then going to come back underneath and then pull and try to pull you in a little more supination. And you can relax your grip a little bit too now because you've got a couple of points of stretch already happening and the towel should not be slipping off. And then again, you want to go back around on the top and again, pulling in supination. So each time you wrap around your arm, you're wanting to pull in more and more supination to your comfort level. You definitely don't want to stretch more than around a 2 or 3 out of 10 pain. Now, the reason why I really like this stretch over the hammer curl is because you don't have to have a tight grip, and so that reduces the load on the ulnar sided wrist, which is that common place of pain. Now, the other reason why I like this stretch too is because you are getting several points of contact on your whole entire forearm to work on stretching versus the hammer, which a lot of the torque is occurring at your wrist. Because remember, in order for us to do forearm rotation, this radius has to move over our ulna. So why should we focus just on one point when we can focus on whole entire radius? And so then what you would want to do is you would want to hold this stretch for a good 10 seconds, working up to 20 seconds. Sometimes if you're really stiff, you may even need to do longer type of holds. But as long as you're keeping that pain level at around a 2 to 3 out of 10, that means you're doing enough. There's a good stretch happening, but it's not so painful that you're not going to be able to do anything the rest of the day. That's something that's pretty common with that hammer. Causes you to not want to use your hand or wrist because it is so sore, which is very counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish. And the good thing about this stretch is you can really just kind of relax in between your stretches. So you don't have to undo the whole entire towel if you don't want to. However, if you feel like you want to kind of wrap it a little tighter, by all means, unwrap the towel and then re-wrap it so that you can get a more effective type of stretch. So then to improve your range of motion in pronation, it would just be the opposite. You would get your hand down at your side, you want to grab the end of that towel, and so this time, instead of going over the top like you do with supination, you're actually going to go underneath and you're going to rotate under and then on the top. And you're going to rotate that way because the pull will help pull your arm in pronation. And then again, you would come up and under and then rotate each time, wrapping around. You're applying a little more of a pull in that pronated position. And again, you would just continue however long that towel is, making sure you're relaxing that grip, not a tight grip, and you would be pulling and stretching in pronation. And then you can just relax that as well in between your repetitions. And so you would want to do around 5 to 10 repetitions. If you're able to hold the stretch for a longer length of time, then usually 5 repetitions is enough. However, if you can't hold the stretch as long, then you may want to do 10 repetitions. But either way, you would want to do them a couple of times a day to help improve your range of motion. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. If you're looking for more forearm supination and pronation exercises, then check out my videos here. Thanks for watching.